All right, y'all, how's it going? We are at about the furthest north end of the river I can get to without going into Kentucky. This is a stretch that I bet it's been 2 years since I fished this spot. I only come down here every once in a while, but I've been going a little bit further south, and you know, yeah, I did pretty good the other day. I caught a 50-pounder, but I'm trying to find a good, decent concentration of the bigger fish. The only thing we got that really works with this area here is, again, we're going to be in and out of holes, but we've got a big shell bed, mussel bed, whatever you want to call it, but it's not too far up in front of us. But I'm just kind of parked down below it, and I'm going to get all these, you know, all these baits set out, and we're going to drag across the top of it, and then it just makes a real, like, hard bend to the right, and then out to a big long straightaway. It's been a good spot, but usually later in the year it's been a good spot. And around this point here has always been a good spot, but I'm stopped here because we've got a pretty good north wind. I'm actually gonna fish just a little bit shallower today, because now here's something for y'all. We had a bunch of rain last night. We had about probably 4 inches of rain, and it was a nice cool rain. Last time I was out, our water temps in the morning was about 88, 89, almost 90 degrees, and would reach 90 degrees later in the day. Well, today they're 83 degrees, so that's about a, what, 7 to 8 degree drop because of the rain. So what my question to you is, do you think that these fish move shallow if that water temperature gets a little bit cooler, as opposed to just hanging out because it's such a drastic change? I think that it does, well, two things. It does kind of it'll pull the bait shallower for sure, because I already noticed that this morning when I was out catching, well, the white bass that I caught. But I haven't scanned nothing to know that, okay, so yeah, they're close or whatever. So I don't know, what's your thoughts? I think it does. I think it moves them a little bit closer. Now, obviously, as the sun starts to come up, they're going to push back down because that water temp will come up. But you know, leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd be curious to see what you guys say about that and experiences you've had after a big rain. The water's not, you know, the river's not messed up. I haven't really, you know, because the ground was just so dry, I don't think a lot of it is going to make it down here, but the rain that did fall in this area definitely dropped the water temp. So we're gonna get some baits out, and like I said, I'm gonna trend shallower. I'm starting out in 55 feet. That's only because I got this green buoy up here, so once I get my spread out, then I'll kind of cut on the other side of it and get a little bit shallower. Probably target that 30 to 40 foot range. I got my big drift sock out today because, like I said, we got this north wind, and pretty much anywhere on this river, on this side of the river, if it's a north wind, it's just going to push you down or upriver. So I'm hoping that once I get the boat moving forward, and then I got the resistance of my big drift sock, that everything will work out just fine. I'm hoping. But let me get some rods set out and some boards hooked up, and let's see what we can't drag up. All right, while that board's going out, I'm gonna go over something real quick. Okay, so I get a lot of questions whenever I talk about using drift socks in my videos about, I say a lot, I get a pretty good handful, but about the how, when, and why. Okay, so the first part, the how, is pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna have a drift sock with usually 1 to 2 lead ropes where you attach them to the boat, and you throw the sock out, and of course you got your other rope that goes to the back of it so you can collapse it, bring it in. So that's pretty much the how. I'll go over the why. The why is because, like right now, I got a north wind, so I'm facing south. So when that north wind comes up, well, basically coming upriver, it's going to push me faster than I want to go. So that drift sock helps slow the boat down. Okay, now wind would be pretty much any time you need to slow the boat down. That's kind of the, I don't know, I guess that you can make that a rule of thumb. But also what it does is, like, once we start getting around these openings, these islands over here, we're going to have a cross breeze. Now the other reason, why, would be so this kind of anchors the back of the boat. So now I got pressure on the front of the boat, plus I've got pressure on the back of the boat. It's still going to want to push the back of the boat around, but it's just not going to just push it all over the place like it would if I didn't have that drift sock. So it's kind of like if you've ever done or seen like a double anchor kind of deal, like where you toss out the front anchor, toss out the back one, then you pull tight to both anchors to keep that boat from moving around a whole lot. It's kind of the same concept, except this way you can do it kind of, the same way, but keep moving. That's the biggest reason why. Basically to, you know, to make sure that I can keep the boat straight, or well, do my best to keep the boat straight and keep it at a speed that I want to fish at. And you can even use it anchored if you've got current, and I've done it several times. If we get enough current and the wind's blowing upriver and I'm spot locked, I toss my drift sock out and it keeps me straight in line with the current. So that's the hows, whens, and whys in a nutshell. That's a fish. God dog, you want to talk about a slow bite. I mean, that was about as slow as you get. He feels like a decent fish if he stays pinned, because I just don't know. I mean, it was a slow takedown, and I mean, just a slow. He was just slightly faster than what the boat was going. That's how I kind of figured it was a fish. I bet he's gonna get tangled up in that line. I don't know if he's just coming at me or what. If he's just that small, I'm not 100% sure. And he's no monster, but it's just hard to say sometimes when they act like that. I caught a 50 the other day, didn't fight at all. Get out of that line. And he got in it. You dog. Now he's gonna get in my dang drift sock. Get over here, get over here. I say he's not that big, but not a bad first fish though. Oh, he just barely whisker hooked. I'm gonna need to the net on him. He just barely hooked. Yeah, he just barely hooked. I don't know how I kept you from out of all them lines, but I appreciate you cooperating. That's a fact. I got my drift sock out there. What'd you go and do all that for? Yeah, like I said, he was just barely hooked, which I figured would be the case, because that being a slow takedown and everything. I mean, not a bad first fish of the morning. Yeah, not a bad first fish at all. Wanted him a piece of white bass. Heck yeah. I mean, just a long thing you are. I mean, just pretty looking. Y'all are getting back healthy again. And I got hung up on that rod. I tell you what, I didn't realize this place was this snaggy. But apparently it is. Good deal. Skunks out of the boat, y'all. That didn't take very long. We've only been doing this about 10 minutes. Yeah, I thought that was a fish. And a dang fish on my suspended rod. I was looking back and like, why is my line straight out? Ain't that a bad one either. So I've been suspending a big white bass head. Man, he must have just picked it up and just started swimming with it, right? Not a bad fish at all. God, y'all. I got fish on everywhere. I got fish everywhere, y'all. Holy crap, I need to net on this one. Bad one for sure. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a spigot rod. I'm kind of like, what the heck is going on with that thing? Really high 20s, close to 30 for sure. Yeah, get a picture of these dudes. Lay you down here first. Yeah, this is a 15, almost 18 pounder, I guess, right around there. Hang on, buddy. Right. Get you back in this water. Good. Again, have a look at it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, let me get your little sister back out there. There we go. Look at this. I appreciate a double. I don't care how big you are. Thank you. Yeah. I don't care. I like a big double. God. I mean, just dumb. Yeah, dumb. Y'all are all dumb. But I think I got a fish. I do have a fish. God, man, y'all, these people that are out here, man, they are just something else, especially with boats like that. They are something else. They have 100 yards of channel over here, but they wanted to come between me and that red buoy over there. This feels like a pretty decent fish. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't. It never ceases to amaze me. I see big boats like that, you just never know what's gonna happen. You just never know what they're gonna do. There is 100 yards of channel right over there. Anyway, yeah, he's not a bad one. I don't know how far I was dragging him because I'm trying to get out of the way of that big boat, but apparently they just like, no, no, no. We want to get as close to the bank with that $1 million piece of crap. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't even think he was hooked. He was just wrapped around, he had the line wrapped around him. Well, that's cool. Hey, like I said before, better to be lucky than good. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you, buddy. Well, I promise you, I'm trying to let you go. Now, I guess he was barely hooked, but then he wrapped himself, so yeah, that's not a bad one. Heck yeah. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, whatever. Do what you can afford, I guess. If you can afford to run $1 million boat up on the bank, then I guess go right on ahead and do it. Look out, I got him. So far, anyway. Boy, that's that big head out there. And he's not a big fish. He is not a big fish. I can't believe he ate that big head. I can't, and he, once you guys see this fish, you'll understand. I don't understand it. I mean, he got it in his mouth. Well, he got it in his mouth. Bubba, what are you doing? I don't. How was you even going to? You know what? I'm just going to give it to you. I mean, y'all look at this fish. That's that head. He can't even close his mouth. I mean, I'll give it to you. You got it. So I'm going to let you have it. Thank you. Look, y'all. Look, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And that one is not going to slow down. He is not going to slow down. I don't understand. Look at him. All in his glory. Got all this money, but he ain't got no sense. No sense. None at all. So look at these waves that are coming. I guess I better get the boat turned into them, so that way it don't knock me over. I guess I probably ought to do that. Look at that. Look at these waves. These people just don't make no sense. They don't make no sense. God, dog. None at all. No sense at all. Ain't got it that time. Yeah, he got it that time for sure. It feels like a fish. Unless he's just wrapped up. I guess he could be wrapped up. He has to be wrapped up. He ain't even fighting if it is a fish. Yep, kind of fought back there. But if he is a fish, he is not a big one. He is a fish, and he is not a big one. He's not a bad one, but he ain't a big one. I mean, he is, he is in a bad way for sure. I don't know what you did, buddy, but you are. I hope when I pull him in, he doesn't unwrap himself. Oh man, I hope he doesn't unwrap himself. I want to show it. I want to show y'all this poor fish. Oh, he's unwrapping. Dang it! I knew he would. Yeah, he couldn't do all that out there. Well, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. All right, well, you're done. I got the leader. You're done. Man, y'all, he was head to tail. He had done wrapped himself all the way up to the swivel. So yeah, there was absolutely nothing he could do at that point. That's funny. That's funny, buddy. Yeah, you're still wound up. You didn't get a chance to fight. And I mean, not a bad one. You know, he's no monster, but man, I tell you what, they're all, you know, pretty decent fish. I mean, they're gonna be great here in about another 10 years. Thank you. There, you can go do all you want to do down there now. That poor fish. I knew that was a fish. Oh, you look. There he is. Again, not a big one. I tell you what, when these fish like this get turned on to white bass, it is a lot of fun. Yep, itty bitty thing. Got that head in his mouth. I don't know how. I don't know how. Well, I'm getting that head back, buddy. That's the last small one I got. That is the last small one I got. Nope, I'm getting it back. Thank you, buddy. Boy, I tell you what, y'all are getting tuned up. I like it when they start acting like that, but I just really wish it was bigger fish. Yeah, I was getting my head back. I think the only other one I got in there is a great big one. I was trying to catch, you know, the size about like what I've already got, but didn't come across many of those in my little white bass hole today. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. So in the beginning of this video, I asked the question, what do you think these fish would do today? Well, it definitely turned the bite on for sure. That's one thing that did happen. It did turn the bite on. I had a lot of bites. Even the little fish were way more aggressive today. So that's one thing. Now, I noticed when I was in the channel, well, actually, I'm gonna tell you first off, when I started over there, our first spot we went to, that one of the things about river fishing I love the most is the fact that it changes. God dang this boat. All right, the old wind's pushing me all over the place, but like I said, the one thing about river fishing I love the most is it changes, and it changes a lot. So where we first started, I fished there a bunch, you know, but it's been a couple years ago. But then, like I said, we had that rain come in, and it you know, flooded all these waters, and so it just shifts everything around. It moves everything around, all the cover, all the snags, everything. So it's kind of like every year, you know, you got to come out here and you got to learn all the little things like that. So it's neat. That's why I say I love river fishing, because it's really not the same year to year. Now, some of the fish patterns kind of be the same, but where you can catch them is it definitely is different. But anyway, so how I started catching fish was I was in the main channel. I didn't catch nothing. Now, this bank here that I've been, well, for a ways, it is a very, very sloping bank. I mean, it slopes very slowly, and then it kind of, you know, sharply dumps off. Well, I've been fishing where it slopes down and dumps down and then goes into the main channel, if I can explain it a little better, because I would show you on the graph, but you really can't see it all that well on the graph. So it's just basically a slow taper all the way down, and them fish were all up on this slow taper, which tells me that they are moving up shallow. I had to move out of the way for a barge, so it put me in about, I don't know, 18 foot of water up there, and I caught a small fish, you know. But most of the quality bites and stuff like that, they come right here at the bottom. So like I said, that tells me that they're just staged to move up to feed, so they can move up, feed, come back out, and just sit there, but they're not in the main channel. So it was kind of neat to figure out. That's, you know, that's always the key, is trying to figure out where these fish are going to be at. And we ended up catching a few. But like I said, you know, I was kind of like, I didn't really need to shoot a video today, but I was like, you know what, heck with it. I'll carry my camera just in case something spectacular happens. And nothing really did today, except for that double up. I love when I get doubles like that. I had a fish hit that suspended rod. I mean, he hit it so hard. I mean, he was pulling so hard I couldn't even get out of the rod holder. But I got to figure out something different, because trying to move that rod around this cover here, I don't know if that's cost me some fish, but it sure doesn't help. You know, I'm sure. But I typically don't put some of them. We'll just call them not well trained in, we'll just say, courtesy boats, but I'm going to put a couple of them in this video, because it's just things that I deal with, not on a daily basis, but I deal with quite a bit being out here all the time. So I'll put a couple of them in this video, and we'll okay, well, let's go on and get this fish. I honestly think I got one on that one too. But it's just been a fun day. Like, I like coming out here catching fish like this, you know, but the problem is I was moving to white bass to get away from these little ones, but like I said just a few minutes ago, that this weather that came through, it had made them just super aggressive. And so, you know, they're hitting everything, which is fun. That's when it makes it fun. You don't get a whole bunch of, you know, dink taps. I got a fish on that one. Let me get this in. But you don't get a bunch of dink taps, and, you know, they're not down there tearing up your bait. You know, even the small ones, they have been just, you know, smacking it and going with it. But I think there's a fish on this one. Yep, I got another fish on this one. He was just back there just chilling with it. Not a care in the world. Oh man. And like that one there, he is a bona fide dink, but he ate that big piece of white bass I had out there. Any more rods want to take off? Now would be the time. But yeah, it's just fun when you can go out here and literally, you know, go catching. I mean, that's kind of what we did today. I would call it catching. I really wish I'd have hooked that or kept that one that hit right there, because that was a good fish. Because he hit it, he was pulling drag, and you know, I mean, I got the drag kind of tight on that rod too, so. But yeah, between this wind and, you know, all this boat traffic and stuff like that, I'm just gonna, because the wind's actually just, it's really moving us pretty good. And this one again, he's not a big one, but they are just, they are just hungry. Something that, I guess that storm or something, boy, it just turned them on. Get him in here. He's a little bit better fish. He's definitely bigger than that one. But yeah, I guess that storm that came through, it turned these fish on. Oh, he just barely hooked. Let's see if I can grip him without him coming off. God, I don't want to have to net that fish, but I'm gonna have to net that fish. Okay, come on up here. Come on. If you'd have just opened your mouth, everything would have been a lot simpler. All right, you got this one. Like I said, he's not a big fish, but they're just, I mean, he was just barely hooked. All right, not a bad one. Another teener. Said he ain't a bad one, but I mean, just beautiful, man. They are getting their colors. You know, most of them are starting to heal up from the spawn. Just beautiful looking fish. Thank you. It's another good way to close out the video, but let me get this other one in here. He is obviously a lot smaller. I mean, itty bitty. Yeah, just another itty bitty one. But I mean, they're just super aggressive today. So I guess if there's one thing I could take away from, you know, the storms we had that come through yesterday afternoon that run me off the water kind of early, is that dropping water temp, because we're just barely up to 84 degrees when before yesterday we were seeing 90-degree water temp. So. But that's one good thing to know. Like I said, I didn't really find them shallow, and I didn't really find them deep. I kind of, you know, I stayed in that 40 to 50 foot range, just kind of, you know, covering that area, and that's where I found most of them. Of course, I did catch one little one up shallow, and I don't know, I didn't drag a whole lot shallow, but well, anyway, I guess with all that being said and all this that just happened, I appreciate you watching this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.